which left Jaeger on the outside of the podium in fourth in that 800 distance. And Ryan Cochran, two-time Olympic medalist, silver behind Sun Yang, bronze in '08 behind. And so this guy's just spent a lifetime just trying to catch up to everybody else. So maybe it'll be as doubtful, though, as the 6'6" Sun Yang comes out. He is trying to match Grant Hackett, who pulled it off at the 2005 Worlds by sweeping the 400, the 800, and the 1500. Hackett, the only other swimmer to do it, although it should be mentioned that the 800 just became a part of the World Championship program in 2001. So Sun Yang right next to Connor Jaeger in lane 3.
Well, he's got to be careful not to get sucked in to what Sun Yang's strategy is. He's really got to swim his own race, manage your race, because I think if you get caught up in trying to think you can beat Sun Yang, it's going to be very troublesome. You have to swim for second. And if you can do that and have that kind of mindset, which is very tough in the sport, I know, then you've got a real good chance of getting up in there and getting a medal. He did it in the 400. But Sun Yang, if you're a fan of swimming, and even if you're not, you're going to love to watch this guy swim.
Sun Yang looking for his second successful World Championship title defense here in Spain. In lane 4, above him is Jaeger, and then McBroom is at the top of the pool in lane 1.
Well, right off the bat, you have to start thinking about stroke count. And the reason why I mentioned that, as we get into the race, if you get a chance to count the number of strokes that Sun Yang takes, it's between 26 and 27 strokes. Each 50, Dan. You compare that to Ryan Cochran, who you said sort of has been a bridesmaid through so many years, and an amazing swimmer. 4th fastest performer in history. He takes 38 strokes per 50. And you add that up for 30 links, that's some 300 strokes more he and everybody else is taking in the field. What Sun Yang is able to do with his stroke count and the ability to grab the water with each stroke.
It equals efficiency. And when you're 6 feet 6 inches and you've got that perfect technique, that natural kind of ability, it just almost makes you unbeatable unless just something goes haywire and Yang kind of gets out of some sort of comfort zone with technique or whatever and breaks down, but he just hasn't shown any signs of cracking.
Well, the only sign of not necessarily cracking, but a weakness, you might say a little bit, is the fact that he hasn't gone best times. He's been so comfortable winning, doing just this, kind of just going out with the field, almost like a Katie Ledecky and what she did to everybody in that 800 and the 1500. Let the field kind of play with you there for about, well, in the 800, for example, 600, 650 meters and just take off. And that's exactly what he's done so far.
It's been an emotional time for Sun Yang since last summer's Olympic Games. He recently had a falling out with his longtime Chinese national coach of some 10 years. And since then has really kind of been trying to put together the puzzle of his training regimen. And with more on that, let's send you down to Carolyn Mano.
Well, Dan, that fallout with Xu Shigen, the Chinese men's coach, came right after the World Trials back in April. And after swimming alone for a little while, he's actually been working with former Chinese men's coach Zhang Yadong for about a month now leading into these trials. Longtime Australian coach Dennis Cottrell, who had been working with Sun for about 3 years leading into the London Olympics this year. He says that the last year has been very tough for Sun. He says he's an athlete that's still maturing at this point. Sun and Cottrell have a really good working relationship, haven't been able to train together since London, but this October they are set to reunite in Australia for 3 months, where Sun will have a guest training partner, Dan, in none other than Ryan Lochte.
So Ryan Lochte looking to shake up his training as well, as we look forward to hearing from Ryan personally in a conversation with Lochte, who will also be a part of the U.S. men's medley relay at the end of the night, or towards the end of the night. And they are going head to head here. Ryan Cochran is staying with Sun Yang at the moment.
Well, Cochran's a bit of a rabbit. He goes out very fast. He's able to come home the last 200 or 300. His race problem is in the middle of the race a little bit. You see Jaeger right there. McBroom is to the far left in lane 1. Again, very early in this race. But this American men's team, I think, has done a tremendous job considering that the greatest male swimmer in history has retired. I mean, the coaching staff of Bob Bowman and Bruce Gimmel, Eric Hansen, Mike Bottom, they've all done just a tremendous job. Some of the coaches that are not here, like Greg Troy and Eddie Reese, Jack Barley, who we saw with Chase Kalish earlier. It's just the coaching in the United States is doing so well. That's why you saw 78 50 freestylers in the men's event swim and train in the United States, or have at least trained in the U.S. at some point.
And as Cochran and Soon-Young continue to pretty much swim together there, worth noting that Soon-Young could have swam the 200 here at these World Championships, and we said it earlier, Rowdy, you think that he very well could have won that, and that would have been pretty unbelievable to make it the 200, 400, 800, and the 1500, which he's swimming now as we approach the 500-meter mark. Third of these 30 lengths of the pool. So as they continue to swim in a race that'll take about 14.5 minutes, we'll take a short break and come back with the men's 1500 final. Back at these World Swimming Championships presented by AAG. And Soon-Young of China looking to defend his title in the 1500, still swimming just a little bit behind Ryan Cochran of Canada as they are approaching the halfway mark. And Rowdy, we were just saying that you think that Soon-Young's got plenty in the tank, that he's just kind of hanging around, waiting for his time to kind of kick on the jets.
Well, one thing that you like to notice on a distance freestyler is their kick. You know, the kick gives you that great body position in the water. And again, Soon-Young has just tremendous body position. Look at that, Dan. That head position is in line with his spine. He's got tremendous posture. That line and that balance in the water is so critical. And again, stroke count. That stroke count that Cochran is taking now, those 37, 38 strokes per 50, is going to catch up with him when you've got a guy next to you taking 10 less strokes per 50 and just kind of hanging right there with you.
So while Soon-Young continues to play cat and mouse with Ryan Cochran, it is Gregorio Paltrinieri of Italy down in lane 6 who continues to run in third, and Connor Jaeger of the United States up there in lane 3 in the 4th position, just trying to fight his way onto the podium somehow.
Soon-Young taking about, again, 26, 27 strokes per 50. His last 100 was 59.1. Both Cochran and him are 59 lows consistently. They're staying right there together. Great overhead shot of Soon-Young on the left. Cochran, and you know, we were talking during the break, Dan, you said, God, it looks like Cochran's kind of flailing out there compared to Soon-Young. And yes, it does look like it. But Cochran, you know, he's got a beautiful stroke. He's got a beautiful pull, actually. It's just, we're looking at him right next to Soon-Young, so it's a bit misleading.
How frustrating is it, Rowdy, for a guy like Ryan Cochran, who has been so close in so many Worlds and Olympics? He's just been bested by a guy that's been a little better. And now he's got Soon-Young, who by the end of his career could turn out to be the greatest ever.
Well, you know, how many guys have been through that? We talked about
Laszlo Ched with Phelps and
yeah,
Lochte.
exactly, with the Phelps and Lochte business. And, you know, Cochran's run up against Soon-Young and Oos Maluli, the guy that won the Olympic gold back in 08. Grant Hackett. I mean, he just is swimming in the wrong era for winning. I mean, he's swimming in the right era for getting up on the medal stand because he consistently wins medals. But, you know, he's pushing the pace, Dan, and that's one way if you're going to try to beat Soon-Young is to push the pace early to where he's uncomfortable. You want to make Soon-Young as uncomfortable as possible, and that's what Cochran is doing. Believe me, Soon-Young does not want to go this fast going out. He wants to lay back and have him push the pace, and you can see how far ahead he is of Jaeger right there, Paltrinieri on the other side, of pushing the pace. Now Jaeger also swimming very well, swimming much smarter here, kind of knowing he's getting into a race for the bronze, which is setting up nicely for him. He's a great back half swimmer.
Yeah, Jaeger up there in lane 3, putting a little bit of pressure on Paltrinieri down in lane 6. And it is Sun Yang in lane 4 below him. Cochran with just a little bit of a lead.
Well, you've got 300 meters left to go here, so you've got 6 lengths. I expect Sun Yang in about 100. Another 100 to say, okay, I've had enough of this.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
Cochran still leads it. And Sun Yang still trailing by just a head above him. And then it is Connor Jaeger up there in lane 3 trying to chase down Paltrinieri in lane 6.
I'll give you an example. Last summer when he broke the world record, Dan, Sun Yang I'm talking about, won the gold medal. His last 50 of his 1500 was faster than any 50 swum of the men in the 200 freestyle. Does that make sense? Except for their first 50. The second, third, and fourth 50s, nobody went faster than Sun Yang's last 50 in the 1500.
Michael McBroom up there in lane 1 is running 5th right now. Behind Cochran, Sun Yang, Paltrinieri, Jaeger. As they make the turn, 200 meters left.
Yeah, Jaeger can see Paltrinieri. There's no doubt about it. He's breathing to his right, so when he comes home, he can see him, but he's got to start closing the gap a lot now.
Cochran put a little push on Sun Yang here. Still maintaining the lead. Paltrinieri putting a push on as well, and Jaeger up there in lane 3 just trying to get into the top 3.
Well, again, Cochran is trying to push that pace. He's trying to make him hurt early. You know, Sun Yang is not in the best of shape. I mean, it's been proven that. Carolyn talked about the transitions he's had to make, the emotional energy that he's had to expend. I like Cochran's kick. This would be, no doubt in my mind, the hugest upset, but I still don't think it's going to happen.
All right, so they are that close with 2 lengths of the pool left. Sun Yang trying to defend his world championship title and just cement his invincibility as a distance freestyler and sweep the 400, the 800, and the 1500. But Ryan Cochran of Canada trying to stay with him, and there he goes, turning on the jet, Sun Yang.
Yeah. Well, I was wrong. He didn't wait until 200. He waited until about 75 left.
So Sun Yang making the turn for home. Cochran is second, and the race is on for bronze. But it's Gregorio Paltrinieri down there in lane 6 who is going to get ahead of Connor Jaeger, who's up there in lane 3. So that is the way they're going to finish. Sun Yang continues his dominance here in Spain in the distance. 400, 800, 1500. Ryan Cochran in a familiar position with the silver. Paltrinieri with the bronze, and Jaeger in 4th. And there is McBroom up there in lane 1 and 5th. So a measured performance, and he loves to celebrate.
Took him a minute to catch his breath. It wasn't easy, but he sure made it look that way the last 75 meters, didn't he, Dan?
Yeah, he just did the minimal for a guy of his talent. And like you said, maybe not in the greatest of shape, but certainly just had that gear to lead the field.
He was 54.5 his last 100 freestyle.
He's not shy about celebrating. I mean, he's the greatest in the world. And once he has a chance to get his breath, he's going to show everyone, I am the... By not only Katie Ledecky of the United States sweeping the 400, 800, and 1500, but Sun Yang does the same on the men's side. Defends his world title and lets everybody know who the man is.